So I've got quite a few children. I've got 7 kids, and with me seeing the first few streams on TikTok about this, I was seeing how they were struggling and everything else, and how passionate everyone else was about it. So, and with it being, everyone wanted it to be a heritage site. I've done a little bit of research, seeing how old it is and everything else, and I just think it's not right for 2,000 asylum seekers they want to put in, and there's only 638 locals. I think it'll be overwhelming for the locals, and I don't think it'll be such good with it being next to a school and everything else. So with me having kids myself and having 5 daughters and everything else that's going on at the minute, I don't think it should be anywhere close to a small city like this.
What about the preservation of the heritage here as well?
That's what I mean. From what everyone said, with it being so old and with the red arrows and everything else that I've read up so far, I think this should be preserved for those simple reasons, not anything else. It's for the history of the UK. I mean, I know I'm South African, but it means as much to me. I mean, I remember growing up as a kid and I loved everything about the UK, and hence why I'm here now. So to me, yes, this is one of the places where it all started. So yeah.
And how does it feel that it's still 1 year on now and no answers is really come of it?
It's really, really frustrating. It should have been sorted with a lot quicker than I think what it is, and it seems like it's going to be dragging on a little bit longer, which I hope it's not. I mean, I've left my family; they all support me. All support me 100% why I'm here, what I'm doing. So I do hope we can finish this quicker and actually get a lot more done. I'm willing to come up. Well, as you can see, I actually bought that caravan over there myself to put up here, and I bought it locally. So I'm here for the long haul. So hopefully, as long as I can get everyone on the same page, that's what it is.
And is there that community support and environment as part of this campaign?
Community support?
Like the community banding together, sort of to...
You know what? There's a handful, but I would love to see the whole community actually banding together, which is what it needs, to be honest. I actually do think if everyone in the city actually comes together and actually stands for this, it'll make a difference. But I think there's been too much going on between the groups and everything else. So that's why I've been trying my hardest to unite them and actually get them just to put the differences aside for now.
How long have you been campaigning now?
Since 4th of August last year.
And why are you campaigning?
Because I don't feel secure having all these migrants here. I live on my own, I'm a widow, so I don't have transport, so I have to get the bus into town, which means I've got to walk to the bus stop, and I'm right by the migrant centre, by the bus stop, and I like to walk around the camp, so I don't feel really secure enough with all these thousands of migrants coming. And we've got 2 schools here, which means they like walking around, the people walking around their dogs. It's not really, we've got 700 people living here, and I've been here since 2001, and they've got 2 schools, and I feel it's not really a safe place for all these people to come.
And what do you make of it now being 1 year on and no sort of firm decision being made as to the next steps?
Sorry?
How do you feel that it's now 1 year on?
I feel we should be freed. We want this. We've got the £300 million Scampton regeneration, which my late husband and I were very much involved, and I'd like to see that come to fruit. And I think that's very important for the whole area. Be businesses for the place. We'd have hotels, a heritage centre, museum, play centre. It would be very nice, entertainment for us, and I could go and look at the hotels, go and look at the museum, and it'd be more social life for me.
And just tell us about the heritage of the area as well, and why you feel it should be preserved.
We should be preserved as after all the dam busters left from here and actually saved England from the German occupation. And my late uncle was actually in the Air Force from here and flew over in the Battle of Britain and never came home. So I feel, strong ties to the Air Force as well. And I feel it's a heritage and it's a heritage site. It's a historic value. It's a famous base, one of the most famous bases in the country. And I feel it's wrong to put these migrants here.
And how long are you willing to continue campaigning?
As long as it takes. As long as they're still here, coming here, I will campaign. And it's it's hard.
Yeah, if you don't mind me asking, sort of, how old are you?
I'm 66.
66, and it is cold. I can feel the biting wind now, but that's not deterring you.
No, I'll fight. I want to fight for my heritage. It's not a good plan. It's a terrible plan for the whole area, and we need protection for our children and ourselves.
What is it that makes you want to be part of this campaign?
Scampton's got a lot of history with the dam busters and everything, and I grew up near here and spent a lot of time on here on camp as a child, and with the 300 million development on offer, I'm fighting for that because that's what it should be, to remember its history and heritage.
And is it as well that it's not an appropriate site, as well as remembering the heritage? It's sort of 700 people combined, isn't it, that live in the area?
Yeah, it's not an appropriate site at all. There's a school literally on the doorstep, so housing over 2,000 men here. It's just not a good scenario with the children.
And how does it feel that it's now 1 year on?
I don't know if it's good or bad. We're still fighting. We're staying. We're not going to go anywhere. We've been told that they're coming. Back in July, they was meant to be put on here, and they're still not on here. So we hope we're doing a good thing with keeping them still not on site and being here.
And how much support have you got? Because it's not just from the UK, is it, that people are supporting your campaign?
No, we've got support from all over the world, really. We've got support in Australia and everywhere. Lots of people obviously know about the dam busters flying from here, so it's a well-known site.
Anything else you want to add?
Any locals want to come and join us, we're here every day, 24/7. It's a nice site to come to. We just want to fight for Scampton.
Why you're so passionate about this campaign?
Well, as it's been said time and time again, the history and the heritage of this place, this as far as the Air Force goes and Bomber Command goes, this is the only place that people go, oh yeah, when you talk about Scampton, talk about the dam busters, everybody knows the dam busters, and then obviously later on we've got the Red Arrows. It's a bit different because in the war we had Fighter Command, we had Bomber Command. Fighter Command obviously did the Battle of Britain. Everybody knows the Battle of Britain. Everybody knows Duxford, Biggin Hill, all those big camps, but this is the only one as far as Bomber Command go, where they go, yeah, we know, and on top of that, I'm ex-Air Force. I did 22 years in the Royal Air Force. My dad did 28 years in the Royal Air Force. My granddad fought in the Royal Air Force in World War II. So for me not to fight for this would just be wrong, sacrilege.
Yeah, why is it so important to preserve the heritage? Because they have wound down other bases, haven't they, in the past?
They have, yes. again, this place is a little bit special in that respect. I mean, you go to most Air Force bases now, even if they were original World War II bases, they're completely different to what they were in World War II. I mean, Waddington just down the road, I served at Waddington, and you wouldn't recognise it for what it would have been in World War II, whereas this place hasn't really had a lot done to it over the years. They've added the odd building here and there. But as far as the layout and the structure goes, it's pretty much as it was in World War II. So to be a heritage centre, it's ideal because you've got that feel of World War II, and then you have the heritage go with it, and then obviously any sort of displays we can get here and aircraft. It would just be absolutely amazing.
And how does it feel that it's now 1 year on?
Yeah, I didn't think we'd be fighting this long. I've got no problem with being fighting this long. It just proves the staying power and the determination of the people of Scampton and the local area that we don't want it here. We don't feel it's right. To put 2,000 single men next to a community of 700 people, women and children, a school just literally just 100 yards down the road from here, on the other side of the fence of the camp, it's wrong. And we got no consultation about it whatsoever.
And what have you and other campaigners had to give up to keep this campaign going?
Well, personally, Sarah's had to pretty much give up her business. She hasn't worked properly for the last year. We've had to remortgage the house to sort of free up more spare cash to make up for the fact that she's not working. It's been quite hard in that respect, but we'll do it because it has to be done.
Right, it's quite shocking really, because a year ago we never would have expected that a year later we would still be fighting the Home Office. It's very disappointing, and sometimes it can feel a bit soul destroying, but you have to keep on, no matter how long this takes, we will keep fighting.
And what have you given up to do this campaign?
Well, my business has been put on hold. My husband's remortgaged a house to make sure that we can sort of carry on fighting this, because it's too important not to.
Why are you so passionate about it?
Well, I mean, you just have to come and look at our house for a start. I mean, my husband is military obsessed, military aircraft. He's former RAF of 22 years. His dad did 27 years in the RAF, and his dad was on the barrage balloons during World War II, so there's a lot of family history there. And Paul has lived on the former military base the former military marriage quarters for 29 years in June, so he's got a lot of history with this place on its own. But then when you look at the potential of what we could be losing, the £300 million of private investment into Scampton to preserve the history and the heritage, and for an education centre, and 1,000 jobs that could be created, but that's going to ripple out across the county. It's too big and too important to not fight for.
And what is the history here?
Well, you've got the Dam Busters for a start. They flew the iconic raid nearly 81 years ago in May, and most people know about that raid, and there's a film made about it as well. It was that important. But also we had the Vulcans and the Lancasters here, and more recently the Red Arrows were here up until 2 years ago in September. So there is a lot that people are passionate about Scampton for.
I know you've sort of said it, but why is this not the right area to house 2,000 male asylum seekers?
Well, it's not right on so many levels. I mean, the Home Office have admitted that we are an experiment. They haven't housed such a high number of migrants in one location right next to a community. I mean, when you say right next to, there is a wire fence between us, and we could see from our houses them going about their daily life, and them us as well. So there's not another location that's that sort of close to it. So the fact that we are going to be an experiment is obviously quite concerning. Things that you see happening in the press, obviously people worry about their safety, and so there is on every level there's a reason to be worried about it and to fight for it.
And what are the next steps now, as far as you know?
Well, I mean, Section Q, the emergency powers that the Home Office have given themselves, runs out on the 13th of April. The West Lindsey District Council have already put in a judicial review to try and stop the special development order, which the Home Office would need to have in place for them to be able to carry on using the site, and I believe they want to use it for another 3 years. They've already had it for nearly a year, and there's still nobody on it at the moment. And I mean, they're running out of time to actually get that set up and in place before Section Q runs out. So it's sort of a waiting game at the moment to see if they actually do it.